Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever any of you are. Welcome in to episode, I never remember, Dante.
24, 24,
24,
24,
Weekly
baby.
Gridiron
24.
Season 2. That's perfect. Hey, with the jersey.
Didn't even plan that.
As always, your host, Adam.
Dante.
And Luke.
And we'd like to welcome in special guest Josh Knapp, Zach Nitchie. Welcome in.
Welcome back.
This is
Thank you,
year
guys.
2
Glad to be
of
back.
the WG mock draft. As we are at the time of recording, we are 2 days, a little under 48 hours away until the fun begins. For me, it's more because we don't have a first round pick this year.
But that is why we are doing a 33 pick, not 33 round. 33 pick mock draft.
Oh, I could never.
MLB draft out here.
Yeah,
Jesus.
really.
Yeah.
We're doing 33 picks.
There's got to be someone who knows like every player for all 33 rounds of whatever. That would just be insane. I could never do that.
Yeah, it has to be
Super
Mel Kiper. He's the only person on the planet that would know that I can say with confidence.
Mel Kiper and Mason Syke. Don't forget.
All right, yeah.
Shout out Mason.
All right, we have each pick assigned to a random one of us, unless if it's one of our favorite teams, then it's assigned to that person. For example, that'll come to me first. I'm a Patriots fan, so I'm picking for number 3. And I'm very intrigued on who the person picking for number 2, Josh, is going to pick, and that will potentially change who I pick. So I'm ready to get started whenever you guys are.
Gonna be interesting.
Let's
I
do
don't
it.
know a lot about this year's draft compared to last year. I felt like I knew a whole bunch. This year, I'm not as knowledgeable, so I'm excited to see how I do. We'll compare our mock, of course, to what actually happens. So,
Oh, jeez.
shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
First pick belongs to the Chicago Bears. Zach Nitchie, you are on the clock with the Bears.
Okay, so Ryan Poles. What would Ryan Poles do in this situation? You know, we kind of traded the other guy to the Steel City because he apparently wasn't good enough. The plan here is to take what people are saying is the next Patrick Mahomes, and I'll believe it when I see it. And that is to take Mr. Nail Polish himself, Caleb Williams.
All right. What was expected has been done. So now
I was going to do Bo Nix, but
I would be very happy if Bo Nix went to the Chicago Bears. That would be a dream come true.
All right, Josh, Commanders at 2. You can go a few different ways here.
I mean, there is only one position that you can conceivably take here if you're the Commanders. You're going to go quarterback.
That's
now,
what
the question is,
Yeah.
the question is, who do you take here? It's either Drake May or Jaden Daniels here. There's been a lot of smoke around both. I personally, what I would do, I'm not telling you who to pick just yet. Personally, I'm taking Drake May. I think he might end up being the best quarterback in this draft. I'm not 100% sure, obviously. I'm not as big a fan of Jaden Daniels. I think Drake May can succeed just about anywhere. So with that being said, with all the smoke going around Jaden Daniels and Drake May, trying to decipher what I believe, what I don't believe, I wouldn't be surprised by either. I think I'm going to end up going. It's going to be a big impact on Luke's pick here. I know he's going to take a quarterback as well. Number 2, I'm going Drake May.
All right. Luke, Mr. Patriot.
I assigned you for that pick because I had a feeling you'd say that because I know you pay attention to this stuff. And the past week or so, even though there was a lot of buzz around Daniels going 2, there was also some rumors about how his agent didn't like Washington. The initial meeting didn't go well, other stuff like that. And I agree that Drake May is just a better prospect. I will just mention real quick, we aren't doing trades unless somebody has some great idea and we all agree on it. But I wouldn't expect that to happen.
I mean, I think the Cardinals should trade pick 4 to Carolina, but that's just my opinion.
Well, that is just your opinion and just yours.
Yeah.
But this is where it gets interesting. I'm not sure that the Patriots love Jaden Daniels. And I know that there's somebody in their locker room does love. And I'm unironically, if Drake May goes 2, I have the Patriots taking JJ McCarthy.
That's your pick?
That's my pick.
That's what you think
Wow.
will
It's not,
happen.
what- it's not what I would prefer, but I do
I know
think
it's not what you prefer. We know.
I
we
do think
know
that that
very well what you think.
happens. Yeah, I do think that that happens if Drake May goes number 2.
Okay.
Mm.
So now I'm up with number 4. I'm gonna make this short and sweet because this is probably, to me, the easiest pick to make besides Caleb Williams. I'm gonna have the Arizona Cardinals getting the future number 1 wide receiver in the NFL out of Ohio State, Marvin Harrison Jr. As an Ohio State fan, Marv, I'll miss you. Good luck in the NFL.
Maserati Marv, love him.
So
Amen.
that means Dante with the Chargers at pick number 5.
Cool. After the departure of both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and Austin Eckler for that matter, but I'm going to be focusing on receiver. Justin Herbert needs some weapons, for sure. And I think the only way to go is
Is Blake
either,
Corum?
what'd you say? Is
Is
Blake
Blake
Corum?
Corum?
Is
Yay.
Joe Milton? No. I think whichever receiver doesn't get picked at 4, I think the Chargers are going to go with, whether that be Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison. But in this case, it is Malik Neighbors. So I'm going him, number 5, to the Chargers.
I would just like to elaborate here real quick. I really do think there is a world where Joe Alt ends up going at number 5 just because of the way Jim Harbaugh plays football. We saw it the
That's
last
fair.
time. I can very well see that happening. I think it would be a colossal mistake, but I think Dante does what hopefully is the right thing for Malik Neighbors and Justin Herbert's career here at 5. So just wanted to throw that.
Definitely happen because you got to get someone to protect for Herbert. But I mean, I think
Right.
Neighbors or wide receiver in general should be the decision here because right now, I mean, yeah, protection for the QB is huge, but who's Herbert throwing to right now? Quentin Johnson, I guess, is their wide receiver 1. He didn't do very much last year.
One of the worst separators in football. One of the worst hands in football.
One of the worst wide receivers in football, period.
I wasn't going to go that far, but you did. So you know what? That's probably true.
Didn't Hayden Hurst go
I'm
to
being
the
nice.
He
What did you
did.
say?
Hayden
Panthers
Hurst went to the
legend.
Chargers?
He did.
I
That's
could not
college
hear it.
legend.
Hayden Hurst now.
Oh yeah, Hayden Hurst is a Charger. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear that. That
It's all
kind of
good.
like
It's all good.
Also, let me just mention something. I would be pretty convinced that teams would be offering the sun and the moon to move up into 5 after Drake May falls. But again, we're not doing trades, or excuse me, after Jaden Daniels falls. And I do think, like Knapp said, that's the right pick for the Chargers. I probably wouldn't even pick up the phone. So
yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, unless you get a Godfather author from the Vikings, I mean, I would stay at 5. I'd take Neighbors. I think Neighbors could be a very good player in the NFL. So I think he's gonna be an All-Pro very soon. So
All right. Well, we're rotating back to Mr.
Me?
Zach Nitchie in the order. Giants at 6. It's interesting.
Yeah, well,
Neighbors
talk,
is on the board.
talk about a dream scenario here if you're a New York Giants fan, especially with all the buzz around Daniel Jones, his job security. I'll put it like that. Questions going into this year. Well, sucks they paid him that huge contract. And you've got Jaden Daniels sitting on the board here. If I'm the Giants, I'm sprinting the ticket up to the podium and not thinking twice about it. Jaden Daniels is a New York Giant. Yeah.
and I love that because honestly, if JJ McCarthy fell to 6, I actually think they would take him. I do. And then ironically, this
And
is
especially with a guy like Brian Dable, I feel like Daniels could. Oh, geez, just get a wide receiver and
get him
maybe
anything.
another
Get
running
him
back.
any sort of
One left. Yeah.
Ironically as well, this is the exact spot where Daniel Jones went 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just throwing it out there.
All right. Well, Josh, you're on the board next. Tennessee at 7.
Okay, well, this is going to be pretty clear cut and dry. Joe Alt, there's not really a whole lot to it. They need O-line help. They need a left tackle. Joe Alt is the proclaimed best offensive tackle on the board. Whether he is the best offensive tackle on the board is left to be seen. But I think if he's there at 7, they pounce. If they don't take him at 7, I think it could go Latham. It could go Olu. It could go Fuaga. I mean, it could be any of the other top guys. So O-tackle is definitely going to be the guy at 7. I just don't know who. It'll probably be Alt, though, if he's there at 7. But my personal mock, I don't think he'll be there at 7. So stay tuned.
Okay, I
Alright.
have the Falcons at 8. I've been pretty confident about this pick. They're going to definitely want to address this position in the draft. I have them taking Dallas Turner from Alabama, the SEC Defensive Player of the Year.
And that's a good pick.
Um,
That's what I've seen pretty much everywhere. Sorry to interrupt you.
I would doubt that they love Olu so much that they take him over Dallas Turner, and they probably feel confident enough about their offense with the Kirk Cousins that I think Dallas Turner is definitely the pick.
Keep in mind too, Atlanta does have a pretty solid offensive line, one of the better ones in the league. It's underrated. I know Adam probably won't like to hear that, but
Oh,
it's definitely not a
okay.
complete. It's definitely not a complete need there. So yeah, I think Dallas Turner is probably the logical pick there.
hey, Atlanta has done a phenomenal job this offseason. And I think they may be the clear-cut winners of this division right now. I got to give them credit when it's due. So, and Tampa has lost a bunch of pieces, which makes me believe in them a little less. But we'll see what happens. It could definitely be interesting. Anyways, on to pick number 9. I have that pick. The Chicago Bears are on the clock again. And Josh, I know you may not like this as a Lions fan, with that receiver room being as good as it already is.
It's a
DJ
logical pick.
Moore is there. Keenan Allen is now there. But Keenan Allen's up there in age. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? I think the Bears want to get another weapon for Caleb Williams to have. They are going to go with someone Caleb played with in his conference, wide receiver from Washington, Rome Odunze at number 9. I just think it makes too much sense.
It does, especially since Keenan Allen's contract expires after this year, and he's also already 32 years old. I think it makes a lot of sense for Roma Dunze to come in. And
See, I didn't even know his contract expired, so it makes even more sense then.
not sure what DJ Moore is. He has an extension, right, Adam? I believe.
We gave him a 4-year extension, I think, prior to the 22 season. So
I can
He's
tell you
got-
very confidently.
at least 2 years left, if not more.
Yeah, he is. You would be correct. His contract. Yeah, he'll be a free agent 2026, so he still has time as well. But yeah, Keenan Allen. I am 95. I'm pretty sure Keenan Allen's contract is up after this year, and I will confirm that right now because his contract is up after this year. So
Jeez. I'm just wrapping my head around just Caleb Williams is going to come in here and he's going to have 3 just absolute goons on the outside for him.
no
And
guarantees. No guarantees. Hopefully.
yeah, who knows
Yeah.
what would happen, but the NFC North is, as AB would say, fireworks. We could see fireworks in that division next year. Like, who knows what Minnesota is going to do? Green Bay, they're there. Then Detroit, the NFC North is going to be fun to watch next year.
Speaking of no guarantees, the New York Jets. Dante, this is your pick.
Wrap out the top 10.
I think says their number one need here is wide receiver, but they also do need to bolster that offensive line a little bit, specifically tackle. So I think I'm going to go with Olu Fashanu from your Penn State Nittany Lions. So I'll go with them at 10.
Your is a very strong word there. I do like the pick, but your is a very strong word there.
You're
Well,
right. Our Penn State and
Our
There.
meaning all 5 of them.
Or Army of Colonial.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't listen.
we
I
are
Penn State.
State. Easy. What you know about it?
All right, who's got? You don't even go with. All right,
Okay,
who's
let
got?
me do it. then.
Who's got the Vikings?
Uh,
Josh Knapp, that is you.
Minnesota.
Okay, so quarterback is off the table. That sucks. That would be
Well,
really funny if that
well,
happened.
Spencer Rattler.
That's-
They
Now
could
try and be somewhat polite here.
I could go Bo Nix.
I'm not going quarterback.
Okay.
If the quarterback's not there, I don't think they force the issue there. I think they do like Sam Darnold enough. If that were to happen, worst case scenario. I mean, it would be the worst case
Panther
scenario. I
would.
mean, that offense is perfect for him. I will actually go on the defensive side of the ball here because they do need some interior on the defensive line. Give me the best interior defensive lineman available here. Byron Murphy out of Texas. Seeing a lot of smoke about him going in the top 10. I could see him going to Atlanta. I could see him going to Chicago. Yeah, if he's outside the top 10 and Minnesota needs a quarterback, I think, or Minnesota, sorry, if he's outside the top 10 and all the quarterbacks are taken, I think Minnesota pounces. So that's my pick. It'd be a good one too.
You could be right about them not forcing the issue at quarterback, but I have less confidence in the Broncos to have that confidence, and I don't think that they like Jared Stidham or Zach Wilson enough to not go quarterback here. And Bo Nix just seems like he's a Denver Bronco name, but I think that as the draft draws closer, people are starting to realize. I think there's more smoke around the fact that Michael Penix is a better quarterback, and I think that possibly to the Raiders' frustration, the Broncos do go Michael Penix.
And that's why I kind of wanted to be the Raiders. I almost wanted to be the Raiders just so I could do that pick, but I don't know. My gut told me not to. I'm not really sure what Denver does. I think Denver should trade down. Their roster's depleted. They have a lot. There's a lot they need. They don't have enough picks right now as it stands. And I think a trade down would really benefit them. But, that's a really rough situation for someone like Penix to walk into. But would be very interesting to see him in Denver. I think he could handle it for sure. Sean Payton's hard coaching.
All right. Nick, you're on the clock with Vegas, a 13.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those guys that think Penix is going to go around this area too, between maybe Denver and Vegas, and Nap took him. Denver, I feel like is like a trade back team too. But now with Penix not on the board, the Raiders, honestly, I do not know because the Raiders always go completely out of left field when it comes to drafting.
You're right
Yeah.
about
New general
that.
manager though. New general manager though.
New general
I
manager,
was
yes.
Telling my friend, sorry to interrupt you, the other night, shout out Joe Valeni. I was telling him that I can't wait to see who Vegas picks this year because they always like to make it really interesting and sometimes make the pick you don't expect them to. So I'm interested to see
Yeah.
what they pick.
And now with Josh Jacobs now gone, yeah, this is tough. Honestly,
If you need a boost, I got you. I have a
no,
perfect plan.
I feel like the value here is just too good. I feel like if Brock Bowers is sitting here for Vegas, you take him, and if him and Tavante and that
Michael Mayer,
offense,
though.
I feel like would be great. I'd go with Brock Bowers here.
Gotta remember Michael Mayer is still there. But
Oh yeah, that's right. Damn. Oh,
you still can we can undo it and start the whole thing over.
can you undo it?
Just do you want me to say something, Nick?
We can
If you want to pretend that pick is a different name, you could do that because I'm going to be honest. If he was there, I was going to give Bowers to the Saints.
Okay, yeah.
You want to
I'll-
do that?
Hey,
I'll-
I'll restart this and just do the picks again. It's
Yeah,
really
do
Yeah,
that.
okay, yeah.
All
That's
right,
the
Just
easiest
do
thing in
that.
my opinion. I think it's
Go
the
ahead.
Of
I'll
course,
redo the
I
names
make
like
the first mistake of the mock. This is
Oh, that's
great.
okay.
It's
Hey,
not okay. Or no,
I knew I
that's
would
what I was
be. I
gonna
knew
say.
I would be.
It's
throwing
okay.
you
It
for a loop.
happens.
Yeah,
I knew I would be throwing you for a loop by taking Penix, but I had to do it.
Vegas is so mid. I don't want to pay attention to them. Sorry.
Vegas is very mid. I agree with that.
Then
Caleb,
I'll do.
McCarthy,
They need some line help.
All the way down there, yeah, McCarthy.
Marvin Harrison Jr., Neighbors, Daniels,
Alt.
Dallas Turner. I have it. That's why I write it down. Adunze, Fashanu, Byron Murphy, second.
D tackle.
Thank you.
Michael Penix Jr. And then here we go with Vegas.
All right, we're restarting
Then
the
I'll
13th.
go. Oh, I'm torn between like two.
I could scroll down. Dude, just tell me whatever you want.
I do feel like Troy Fatanu. I really like him, but his medicals might scare some teams. So in that case, I'll go Talise Fuaga. Give me
I
him.
can see that. I can definitely see that.
All
yeah,
right.
I love Fatanu, but his medicals apparently have come up, and that could scare some teams. So I feel like Fuaga. Be a good pick there.
All right. Well, I still think that is a very good pick for Vegas. And like I said when we were going through this, that does reveal my pick for New Orleans. And I hate that they get him because he's so good. But I think they badly need a tight end right now. So Brock Bowers is my pick for the Saints at 14. So, all right, Dante, you're on the clock with Indianapolis 15.
Cool. I think the Colts desperately need a corner, so I'm going to go with our first corner off the board. And I'm actually going to go with Kenyon Mitchell from Toledo. I think they'll go with him. I think he's a solid corner. Yeah, former
Heard
Toledo.
a lot of good things about him.
Yep,
A lot of noise around him being targeted by the Steelers as a trade-up candidate, which
I
is
saw that. I did see that.
they love their Mac guys. So we'll have to see what they
We're
do.
all about the Maction.
All right, Nietzsche, you're back on the clock at 16.
Oh yeah.
Seattle
Okay, so
Seahawks.
Seattle. Now here's where I might get a little bit frisky, if you want to say that. I see Seattle's always a team that goes a little bit unexpected, maybe not like I'll use like an example that there's a number 1 ranked CB, they might go with the number like 3 ranked one there or whatever, just the guys that would fit their system. And a guy that I feel like just the fit and the way they use him, especially in the defense there, would be very, very cool to see. I love the fit that Cooper DeJean would bring to the Seahawks for some reason. Like the way they're working with Devon Witherspoon and Tyreek, you add DeJean to that, you got the Legion of Boom 2.0 right here in Seattle. So that's a fun pick to me.
I like Cooper DeJean a lot. He's from the Big Ten. Went to Iowa. So
only bright spot of that Iowa team was that defense. So
right.
I just love the fit there. I feel like that could be really fun.
We got double J here. J for Josh, J for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Triple
J. I love it. I love it. Jacksonville is a hard team to pick out. They have probably the worst general manager in football, in Trent Baalke.
He ripped a fart during the press conference the other day.
What's that?
He ripped a fart during the press conference.
Oh, I know he did. He admitted to it too, unlike Dan Orlovsky.
I mean, you need to. Yeah. Dan Orlovsky, take notes. That was funny.
That was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of torn here because I'm not 100% sure. Again, he's another one of those guys that's like super off the wall sometimes. They took Anton Harrison last year, 23 or whatever. They made a couple moves around to end up drafting him to be their right tackle. Receiver is arguably a need. I don't see them taking I'm conflicted. It's either receiver or it's corner. I'm not 100% sure what I'm thinking here, to be honest. I'm honestly thinking I do think they go corner. Terry and Arnold's right there. But do they go Terry and Arnold? I think they end up going Nate Wiggins. I really do. I know our special friend Mason Syke would not be a fan of that pick at all, but I don't know. Terry and Arnold still on the board at 18 is kind of wild to me, but it's very possible. So whoever has Cincy, very interested to see what you do, number 18.
All right, pick 18. Luke, you are on the clock for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I think the Bengals, they obviously could go a couple different directions for this pick. They could go defense. They kind of need it at defensive tackle. They could definitely go wide receiver. Since we're not doing trades, I'm not going to go wide receiver. That's much more likely to happen if they move somebody on draft night, which is entirely possible. But I think that maybe the Bengals, they get a little bit worried here. I think that this might be a pressing issue that even if with the injuries piling up on Joe Burrow, which it might be fine next year, but they might be in a little bit of a panic mode. So I do think they take an offensive tackle. I do think they take Troy Fatanu right on the screen there. I do
Yeah.
think they do that. Like I said, if they end up trading a wide receiver on draft night, that's definitely in play. But I just think that they're a little bit scared into this move just by the piling injuries on Joe Burrow.
Right. And
Is
Trent
there-
Brown and Orlando Brown are both
Yeah.
there as bookends. I think that's a okay duo. That's a solid duo. If somebody remembers, I believe Trent Brown's contract's a 1 year. So that doesn't
Trent-
put a ton of pressure on Fatani right away. Could also probably kick him inside the guard, which they do probably need the guard help as well. They have Alex Kappa there. I forget who else they have there, but you could definitely make an argument that Troy Fatani could go there at 18. Absolutely.
Trent Brown is there until he gives up after week 6. I can say that from experience. But I do think that
All right.
I think that's my pick for them.
I'm on the board for the LA Rams. It says their top needs are corner and edge. I see Terry and Arnold's right there. I see Laiatu Latu, Jared Verse are on the board. But my gut tells me to go Terry on Arnold for the LA Rams here. It says our number one needs corner. You can never have too many corners. I feel like that would be a nice pick for them. And this is the Rams' first round pick since
Yeah.
Jared Goff, number 1 in 2016, who is now the quarterback of
Josh Knapp's Detroit Lions. That's very true. It's very
It's
true.
the Detroit Lions, not Josh Knapp's Detroit Lions. But okay.
Well, you know
I'm-
what?
I'm
This
not-
is the Zach Nitchie and Dante Catanzarite team right here.
Oh, here we go.
So
That with the last name. Appreciate that.
Steelers are on the clock.
All right. Dante, do you want to get it started or me right here?
I think I know where I'm going as long as you agree.
Well, I'm just going to have my spiel here about where I stand, since I especially have not talked to Dante about where I stand. I've maybe talked to some of you guys about what I feel, but I'm honestly expecting, or maybe a little bit expecting, the unexpected here. Steelers could be a trade up team, maybe, especially in this type of scenario. I feel like if Troy Fatanu is there around the 17-18 range, they could maybe move up to try and go get him. My gut just tells me, though, that this is still going to be offensive line with an Andy Weidel in the front office there, and a need still at tackle. Dan Moore, I think, is entering the final year of his rookie deal.
hooray.
My gut still tells me that this is going to be offensive line, whether it be a tackle or a center. So that's where I'm at right now.
Mhm.
Dante, I don't know where you're at. So
Let me tell you. Well, my dream scenario here is trading 20 for Brandon Ayuk. That's my
and there's that. Yes, there's a possibility that could
If-
happen. as well.
If you want to do it, I will allow it.
no. It's
I'm okay with that.
You guys can make your pick just because it's also entirely possible the Steelers end up picking. So go ahead.
Well, if we were to pick, which I honestly expect us to do, I would go with a tackle, and I would go with Amarius Mims out of Georgia to build that Georgia connection between him and Broderick. I feel like that would be a good duo on that line. Niche, if you agree, or if you want to go elsewhere, that's cool too. But I would go Mims. Jackson
I like
Johnson
Mims.
also in play too.
But I also see JC Latham on the board here.
That's fair.
And I feel like the value for him here is great.
Mhm.
Latham or Mims, I mean, I'm cool. I just feel like Latham's a bit safer.
I'll go
Because
with Latham.
Mims, if he turns out to be great, he has the high. I feel like he probably has the highest ceiling out of all these tackles. But Latham right now, I just feel way safer with him, especially with the injury concerns with Mims, the inexperience of Mims due to those. I feel a lot safer with Latham, but I mean, I'd take Mims though. But I just feel Latham's a safer pick.
I'll go with Latham. Let's do it.
Latham,
All right.
all right.
Really, comment on that. JC Latham is a really interesting prospect, not only because of what he can do, but more because if you look at the last 5-10 years of Alabama offensive tackles, it's been a really ugly run, actually, for the most part. So I'm very curious to see how he ends up doing. He's the last Saban offensive tackle, one of the last Saban offensive tackles, to get drafted, that will get drafted this high. So I'm very curious to see what he ends up doing in the NFL. I'm not sure what he does, so I'm very curious. That would be an interesting pick.
And I would not be shocked either if we go with Graham Barton. His name has picked up a ton of steam these past few weeks. And I mean, I love his size. I feel like that's what they're going with. Just a line with just big guy, just mullers in there. And he kind of reminds me a little bit of a Marquise Pouncey because of his size. I mean, I would not hate it because they think he's going to move into the interior because of his arms. So I wouldn't be mad at that. But I just feel like my gut's telling me they're going to go offensive line. That's what the breadcrumbs tell me right now.
Yeah.
Well, next pick, Miami Dolphins also belongs to you, Niche, if you want it. So, what do you think there?
Oh, me? Okay. Miami. Just all I can think about right now in my head is Mike McDaniel and his evil scientist obsession with speed. I know I think you guys know where I'm going with this, especially with Tyreek Hill hinting at maybe retiring in a year or two. I think you go with the guy who just set the mark at the combine in the 40, and you go with Xavier Worthy.
That would be insane. That would be crazy.
I wouldn't like that as a Patriots fan, but I suppose
I'm just
Yeah.
speed. That's what they want is speed. And I feel like knowing Mike McDaniel and his ways. Also, I love Mike McDaniel as a coach. I think he's great for
Worthy
the
would be
sport.
their wide receiver 3. Am I wrong?
I
Yes,
mean,
you're
you
correct.
have 3 burners there. That would just make playing Miami even more of a nightmare. But once again, they have mid Tagovailoa at QB. So
They do have a lot of other pressing needs too. I think wide receiver is something they should probably wait on personally. I mean, I do actually think that's
which they probably will because I suck at making mocks.
Listen, I
I'm not
agree with
as-
you actually on this. I do think they take Xavier Worthy. I
Yeah.
do think Miami is a team that just sneakily has a lot of holes. This time last year, let's just say this time last year, I was way more confident than I am right now, and probably way more confident last year than I should have been. Luke is right, but at the end of the day, they're probably gonna end up they probably will end up taking Worthy. I 100% can see that.
All right, Eagles, that belongs to you, Josh.
Okay, Philly. Philly also has not a lot of needs, but there are definitely needs that will need addressed. We know a lot about Howie Roseman by now, and I think you guys all know Howie Roseman by now too, and you know what Howie Roseman likes to do in these kind of situations, right?
Trade up.
No. Well, he has played around with it.
Yeah.
He likes to go look into the future, and he likes to go look for impact players in the future. He did this last year. They did it the year before. They did it last year with what? Nolan Smith last year. The year before, or was it just Jordan Davis in 2022? Either way, in the past couple of years,
22.
either way, they've usually spent some of their higher picks on higher, guys that are going to sit on the bench for a year or two, let them wait and develop. Cam Jurgens is a prime example. They did that with Andre Dillard even 4 or 5 years back. I think they're going to do the same thing again. Lane Johnson's getting up there in age. I've heard a lot of smoke about offensive tackle going to Philly. So with that being said, you have a couple options here. Dante, may I please see the offensive tackles on the board?
Offensive tackles, you said?
Yes, sir.
I won't push you in any directions, but don't forget about their absolute love for Georgia.
Oh, I was getting there. I was going to get
You have
there.
an
So,
obsession with Georgia.
Yeah, Luke
Okay.
exactly pretty much just ruined the next 30 seconds I was gonna have. Actually saved me on time. No, actually you saved me some time. So you know what? Yeah, let's go Marius Mims here. They're gonna develop them. They have my lot on Lane Johnson at the bookends, but I think it's with Lane Johnson getting up there in age, I think it's gonna make a lot of sense when they take a Marius Mims on Thursday night. So that's my pick.
Dante, well, I have the Vikings. Dante, can you please go back to the all screen? I want to make a point about one or two of these guys. I think that the Vikings could go, they could go a million directions, but I think that for my pick, they will go in one of three directions, all of which centered around the fact that, well, this guy kind of fell to us. We didn't need to reach for him at 11 or wherever they were. The first guy is Bo Nix. I don't think it happens just because I think that they probably don't see him as much of an immediate upgrade over Sam Darnold. They probably don't think he's worth taking now and sitting. They probably don't see a huge future with him. I don't think they bother. I think they are a little frustrated on missing out for a guy. So I think they swear off QBs for the next 2 or 3 days. And that lands me on really the two top guys there, Latu or Jared Verse. And we were talking about Latu before. I think that it's very possible that they see Verse as a better prospect. I think they go Jared Verse here.
Latu also has some medical issues as well.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So.
I think that they don't bother with that in the first round. We've seen it before, just in the past couple of years, guys like JOK with some medical issues that could have gone anywhere from 10 to 30, but ended up in the top of the second round. I think that's entirely possible with Latu.
Also very possibly ends up being a top 15 pick too. It's
very possible. That's
range is
just
very high for him. Range is very
that's
high.
just the coin flip with those guys.
All right. I'm up with Dallas. I was telling Luke, this is going to be a very interesting pick. I've had this made in my mind for a few minutes. Now I've thought about the Cowboys. I don't really know what to do for them.
You
Dante,
never know what to do.
You
for
know
the
where
Cowboys.
the team needs are for Dallas. I just want to see them. Okay. One of the positional team needs is the position I'm going. Their offense lost somebody in particular this offseason. Think you know where I'm getting at. I think Dallas is going to make the shocker of the first round. Dante, can you please go to the running backs?
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow.
Dallas going Jonathan Brooks, Texas.
Okay. That's certainly interesting. It wouldn't. Okay, I gotta lie. It would shock me if they did that. But
it would shock me too. I'm not
it's
gonna.
very interesting. Very interesting if they did do that. But
do I think they're gonna do this? Absolutely not. But it's Dallas.
if they did,
Expect the
Adam
unexpected.
has the winning lottery numbers.
I feel like they'll draft him, but not this high. But I also feel like they love Rico Dowdle like a
That's
lot.
true.
Because they gave him a ton of run, especially near the end of the season.
They do have Deuce Vaughn too. I keep forgetting that.
Well,
but
he's like 5'5", so
that's
He's running
true
that long term.
as well.
sorry to be frank, but
No. You're fine. I just wanted to make one interesting pick. I feel like there's got to be one surprise pick.
yeah. But I could Texas Longhorn, right there. That they might be high on him. Yeah.
So
there's always 1, 2, 3 picks that shock us in the first round. So,
and Nap, not to throw your Lions out there, it ended up working out, but I didn't expect to see Jahmyr Gibbs at 12 last year.
Well, we also didn't expect to see Jack Campbell at 18.
That's
So
true.
yeah, you know how we said there. That's we have to have at least one surprise. Yeah, I'm gonna have a surprise too at 29. You'll see who it is very soon, as long as nobody takes him. Which if anybody takes, maybe a little surprised. Also, just
keep going then.
Dante,
Sorry
you're
for interrupting you,
25
Dante.
with Green Bay.
Cool. Given that this isn't a very, middle linebacker, inside linebacker, it's not a very deep class regarding that position or a very good class in general. I think the Packers, they need to solidify a true corner, a true CB. So I'm going to go with Kool-Aid McKinstry at number 25 to the Green Bay Packers.
What a fun name.
I love that pick.
You know what his real
I
name
love
is?
that pick a lot.
You know what his real name is? I found this out yesterday. It's DeQuincy McKinstry.
Oh, okay.
Name's
Interesting.
DeQuincy.
Kool-Aid's a lot better to say.
I like
That's a tongue twister right
Lot
there.
more
Yeah,
fun,
for
too.
sure. Oh, and
Take a
if if I may break, this ain't breaking news, but since we picked Roma Dunze at 9, him and Caleb Williams apparently were on the same flight to Detroit, and also worked out together alongside DJ Moore and Keenan Allen.
Oh wow!
So
maybe they all know something we don't.
Look at
so
that.
we probably already know picks 1 and 9 in the draft right now. So
I hope someone swoops in and takes Rome. I really hope.
That'd be funny. I'd love it.
that would be funny, yeah.
And speaking of NFC North teams, it was not the news I was going to break. Per Jonathan Jones, the Vikings at 23 are very hesitant to give up that pick in exchange for a top exchange to move up for a top quarterback. So
Too
that's
bad.
something to monitor as well.
Too bad.
Yeah, too bad is you're right, too bad. I really don't think they end up moving up. I know it's like, oh, it's such an obvious. Sometimes the obvious doesn't end up happening. It's just the reality of the situation. I think it's gonna be very hard to move up.
As it should be.
I agree. I think they should give up a haul if they have to. I think that's what their plan was. But if you're that hesitant to give up pick 23, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? So,
All right.
very monitor that situation.
I guess I'm back on the clock here with Tampa at 26. I'll make this one quick and easy. It says their number one need is edge. There's a clear-cut number one edge on the board. I don't know how Leatu Latu fell all the way to number 26, but
that's an easy pick there.
I'm going to give him to Tampa. Again, another team in my division getting a really good player. You had Dallas Turner to Atlanta, Brock Bowers to New Orleans, and now Leatu Latu to Tampa Bay. It's not going to be easy for my Carolina Panthers, but building blocks. We're going to get there year by year. So I guess, Dante, you're next with the Arizona Cardinals. This pick is from the Houston Texans from last year's massive surprise, in my opinion, trade up for Will Anderson Jr.
Yeah. I think this is an obvious pick for the Cardinals. I think you go receiver here no matter what.
Again,
Did we already give him a receiver?
Marvin Harrison.
We might have.
did. My mistake. I totally forget.
You're
It's
good.
okay.
Want to make sure just want to make sure you're confident in your pick.
I've already messed up, so yeah.
In that case, I'll go with their next position of need, defensive tackle from Illinois, Johnny Newton, to the Cardinals.
And he's a guy that I've seen that can go a lot earlier than people think he's going to go, Johnny Newton. He seems to be a player that teams love. So, yeah.
Okay, so I have the Bills here, and my heart skipped a beat when you went into wide receivers for Arizona because this is a layup for the Bills. I think they're taking Adonai Mitchell. I think they prefer him over Brian Thomas Jr. probably, and a wide receiver is a huge layup for the Bills.
Did we just go almost 19, 20 picks without taking a receiver? That's insane. For how high.
Yeah, maybe. No,
That's nothing
Xavier
wrong.
Worthy, 21.
Thank you. So we have 5 receivers off the board now.
I was about to say, this is why we don't do mock drafts, because we don't know anything.
Yeah, we don't know.
We think we know.
Well, to be
We
fair,
think we do, but we don't.
just pretty much assumed that 3 of those 5 we named are going to be in the top 10 anyway. So.
Just compare our
absolutely.
mock draft from last year and what happened, and then you guys will know what.
You know what? I still have it. I'll send it to you guys after.
You should post it on the WG, and I just want to look at it and just see how wrong we were.
I'll never forget. Last year we were doing 2 rounds, and I forget what pick I had. It was probably in the 40s or late 30s, and I was looking at mock drafts online because at that point I was way out of my depth. I had no idea, and I gave somebody, and then everybody everybody we were talking to, I think all the same guys.
Oh yeah,
collectively went who?
Was it Tanner?
No, not that. It was, I do
Andrew McCutcheon just he hit another home run.
That's
go.
Our leadoff man.
I do
Again?
remember also, didn't I give the Jets Jake Haener? Anyway, that was fun. But
He ended up being a
First
Saint,
at bat,
and then I think he got this.
bottom of the first again.
yeah,
Go on.
there you go, Kutch.
Oh.
But time constraints, we're only doing the 33 picks today. Speaking of which, Josh, I won't make you wait any longer. What's that big surprise with Detroit?
Yeah, hell
Well-
yeah, here we go. So clear it
So
out.
after last year, I began to realize that Brad Holmes does not care about immediate need in the draft, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. I mean, I forever am a proponent of running backs not being a first round pick. You can get him anywhere and plug and play him and be fine. But it worked out. Took us to the NFC Championship. Then he did it again at 18 with Jack Campbell. Hated that pick. I still hate that pick. No offense to Jack Campbell. I still do not like that pick. But he's grown a little bit, I suppose. So, immediate need, edge. Marcus Davenport's on a 1-year contract. Cornerback. Still think we should add to that group. Cam Sutton is now gone. Probably should be in prison.
Steeler legend.
Steelers legend. Defensive tackle wouldn't surprise me, but Johnny Newton's gone.
So, there you go.
Wide receivers possible. They need another guy across from J-Mo, and with Amon-Ra moving around everywhere. It wouldn't surprise me if they did that either. But there's one thing I haven't named yet. I haven't named O-line. And if you know anything about Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, you know that they prioritize the heck out of that O-line more than anything else on that team.
Oh, I know who it is.
Do
I know
you?
who you're pick.
Do you?
I think I do.
Well, it was interesting because Mason actually sent us a text a couple minutes about
Yep.
10 minutes ago about Jackson Towers Johnson.
Mhm.
And now, before we make that pick, let's look at all who's on the board. We have Graham Barton on the board. You have Tyler Guyton on the board. You have Jackson Powers Johnson on the board. Scroll down a little bit, please. Kingsley Sumataya on the board. Jordan Morgan on the board. Haynes on the board. Scroll down a little more. There we go. Perfect. And this is a guy who exudes toughness. He exudes grit.
Wow.
Real
He is-
lunch pail type guy.
The lunch pail mentality.
Am I the
that's
only one who
correct.
still doesn't know who he's picking?
Well, when he said, "Here we go," then
I think
I'm
is
a
it
surprise.
And now I'm getting a FaceTime call, and I can't accept this right now. It interrupted my
Of course, when the Lions
I
are on
know,
the
I know. Chase called me, and I'm like, now it's messed up my screen. Hold on a minute. We gotta.
that's Dan Campbell
up here,
drafting that
please.
back.
Take your time, man.
Okay,
leave us
we're good.
wondering.
Let's check the Phillies score in the meantime.
I'm back. I'm good.
Okay, you're back. Okay.
My perfect monologue. Damn it, Chase! You interrupted the monologue. But anyways, lunch pail mentality, yada yada, grit.
Real
All
scrappy
that. I have a
guy.
Detroit Grit shirt now.
Okay.
I love that shirt. And the first new first round pick to be christened in the new 90s inspired Lions home uniforms is none other than interior offensive lineman out of West Virginia, Zach Frazier.
Okay.
There you go.
Nap, let me ask you this. If you have the pick, all the centers are on the board. Barton, JPJ, and Zach Frazier.
Sure.
You feel, in your honest, genuine Lions opinion, you feel like they're going to go Zach Frazier?
10,000%. 10,000%.
Wow.
Because they would have gone Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, you look at them, right? They go off. They don't care about.
I mean, I don't hate it. I just feel like Barton and
you.
I
could
definitely
see
feel
that, though.
JPJ's better.
I agree.
I mean, sure, and I could see that too. But they also thought Jahmyr Gibbs was better than Bijan Robinson, and in year one, weren't wrong. So,
Like, I love Zach Frazier, but picking him over JPJ, I don't know about that.
I can
But-
see it, man. I really can. I've been thinking about this for months. I really think they do. I think they visited. I believe they have visited with Zach Frazier at least once.
He
If
does
I'm not
a Lion. He seems like he'd be a
exactly,
But
Mike.
no,
When
he
you look at
does
the kind
seem
of
like
attitude he brings.
he does seem like a fit there though. But yeah,
Has he visited the Lions? I mean, Peter Schrager said it. Daniel Jeremiah said it. A lot of other people said it. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. So, I also can see them trading back. Brad Holmes' favorite activity is trading back. So, wouldn't be completely surprised by that either. So, anyways, I've talked enough. Whoever's Baltimore, please pick.
That's okay. Let's go over it before we finish up. So if it's all right, I don't have any more picks listed. Oh, okay. I got you. For Luke or Josh. If that's all right with you
It's
guys.
fine with me.
Anybody needs a substitute, let me know.
Okay. Dante, we got you for Baltimore. We got me for San Fran and Carolina. And Niche, we have you for the Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs.
Should have been the Lions.
All right. Yeah, I agree with that. Anyone but the Chiefs. Dante, you're up with the Ravens.
Okay, so I think the Ravens desperately need a receiver here. And I think I'm going to go Brian Thomas. However, I could see the Ravens honestly going Lad McConkey here. I don't know. It just seems like a Raven thing to do. But I'm going to go with Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU to the Ravens. I don't know how he fell this far. I think he's way too good of a wide receiver to fall out of the first round. And LSU receivers, man, you can't really miss on them in recent years. So I'll definitely go Brian Thomas Jr. here to the Ravens. I hate to see it, but I think it'll happen.
Anytime Baltimore's on the clock, I already know it's going to be a good pick, and that's going to piss me off. So
I've said
because they're so good at drafting. I hate to say it, but they are. They're so good at drafting.
I've
Like,
said
they're
it.
one of the best.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was going to say they drafted a lot of receivers lately. Rashad Bateman, I haven't heard very much from him since he got drafted.
Believe his this is I believe his fourth, fifth. Yeah, I think
Third,
this is
fourth
year,
year. Yeah.
I believe this is year 4. So I don't know what they're gonna do about his option. I would expect they decline it, honestly. It's like the Eagles a couple years ago when they tried throwing everything at the board with wide receiver until it finally stuck. I mean, they went what? Jalen Reagor. I mean, you went
Jalen Rager.
couple years before they I mean, they tried and they got Devonta Smith. And then they got AJ Brown like a year later. So it like worked out really well. So like Baltimore doing this wouldn't surprise me completely. I can see it. Especially since they don't have Odell anymore, which I don't think he's coming back. Made it sound like he wasn't coming back. So
They also took Zay Flowers last year, who
yes.
has looked to be a great pick. He had a pretty good rookie year.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. San Fran at 31. Dante, could you score back up so I can see the team needs? I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking about going wide receiver here because I know there's probably I want to say 75% chance at this point that Brandon Ayuk is getting traded very soon. But the guy I was targeting, Brian Thomas, is not on the board. So and that's okay. I'm also thinking, we didn't go wide receiver for the Bengals with hypotheticals with T. Higgins. So I'm gonna leave the position alone. I do see edge on there. I see corner. Dante, can I see the corners?
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure I'm going to go corner. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to go corner. I know who I'm going. You can go back to all. I'm going to give our school some love here. I see his name right there. It says they need an edge. I'm going Chop Robinson to the 49ers.
Very good pick.
Especially because they just lost Chase Young to the New Orleans Saints. So I feel like they need an edge to put in there. And you could put him right next to Nick Bosa, have that Big Ten connection, Ohio State, Penn State. So there you go.
Look very strongly into offensive line as well. I think, if they're at that spot and Tyler Guyton's still there, I could see them going Tyler Guyton. I could see them going Graham Barton. I could see them going JPJ. I think there's a lot of possibilities there for San Fran. Edge isn't a bad possibility, though. I could definitely see them, especially with Chase Young being gone and Eric Armstead also getting released this offseason. I think edge D-line of some sort isn't completely out of the question at all.
Niners have struck gold with defenders recently. So I feel like Chop Robinson could just be another example of that. Could just be your next great 49ers defensive player. So, all right. 32, the Super Bowl champs. Unfortunately, the Chiefs are on the clock here. Zach Nitchie.
I kind of put myself in a pickle here because, I feel like if Xavier Worthy's on the board here for the Chiefs, that's who they go with because, once again, speed, he's a great fit for them. But I put him on Miami. And the wide receivers right now, Keon Coleman, I'm really not sold on. I feel like he might be a bust. And the Chiefs, they also have a need at offensive line. And I feel like here you take probably one of the last good tackles here. I'm going to give him Tyler Guyton.
I can see that. I can see.
I mean, and also with the Rashid Rice situation, I feel like they're probably going to go wide receiver here. Who knows? Xavier Worthy might be there, but of course he's on Miami in this one since I put him on there. So I feel like O-tackle's the next logical way to go.
Well,
And
correct me if I'm wrong, did Creed Humphrey go to Oklahoma?
yes,
Well, there's a connection.
there you go. So yeah, Tyler Guyton, I feel this is around the area he goes, late first round.
Could see him go as high as
Early.
Dallas.
Yeah.
I will just make mention of something. It totally slipped my mind that the Patriots are at 34. So after Adam picks, I'll just make one more pick for the Patriots, if that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Then we can call it a draft. All right, Carolina pick 33. This year we gotta wait till Friday for the draft, unless we trade up. But I gotta be honest, I don't see that happening.
And I don't think they should either.
This
Personally.
has been a very interesting offseason for Carolina. Brought in a new head coach. I'm already loving Dave Canales. Seems like a player's guy. Said today he wants to get to know his players, really build the culture there. I think it's a great culture building players guy hire. They moved on from Brian Burns, finally traded him for pick 39, along with a future 5th round pick. The New York Giants are not paying him $30 million a year. Good luck with that.
Overpaid.
Gonna miss Brian Burns, but had to be done. This team has made a lot of upgrades, really prioritized the heck out of that offensive line. They made some nice defensive signings, brought in wide receiver Deontay Johnson from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I love, is a great route runner for us to pair next to Adam Thielen.
Separation guy.
Yes, separation guy, especially because it's at the point where I've pretty much given up on Terrace Marshall Jr. I don't know what to think about Jonathan Mingo anymore. And I will say I definitely think Carolina needs to go wide receiver at one of their second round picks. Sorry, not first round picks. And since I'm not making a pick at 39, we're going to cover the issue at 33. So Dante, if you want to go to the wide receivers. Now, there are still some names on here that Carolina has looked at. They have looked into Keon Coleman. They have looked into Ladd McConkey. They have looked into Xavier Legette a lot. So I don't know who I'm going to go here. I'm going to go with my gut. My gut tells me that, the Panthers, I'm kind of thinking how Luke managed the J.J. McCarthy pick. How Patriots fans may not want McCarthy. They may want Daniels instead, but McCarthy seems like the more realistic option. Carolina Panthers fans would love Ladd McConkey, myself included. But I'm going to go with the guy who seems the more realistic option. I've heard a lot more rumors about, and that is wide receivers from South Carolina, Xavier Legette. I'm going to go with the pick 33. Now, if I had the pick, I would go Ladd McConkey 100%. But I have heard the most about Legette, so I'm just going to go with what I think is the safe assumption, what the rumors are pointing to. And don't get me wrong, if we get Legette, I will be a happy camper. He would be a nice wide receiver 3 to have next year, maybe a nice wide receiver 2 to have in the future. Deontay Johnson's on a 1-year contract. That could be a 1-year thing of him with the Panthers. Who knows what the future looks like for Adam Thielen? So maybe you develop Legette. He becomes your wide receiver 1 of the future. And hey, it's an SEC connection too. He went to South Carolina. Bryce Young went to Bama. So you have that. So there we go. Keep pounding my pick for the Panthers. Xavier Legette.
And he stays in state. So there you go.
That is true as well. And
stays
I
within
wanna,
that realm. But yeah,
I want to
Yeah.
add one more thing.
He's in the Carolinas. It counts.
Now
It
that you
counts.
say that, I want to add one more thing. The Carolina Panthers have gone with South Carolina and NC State guys a lot lately. They went with J.C. Horn out of South Carolina in the first round of 2021. They went with Ikem Ekwonu in the first round out of NC State, offensive lineman. Last year, I think his name is Chandler Zabala. They got offensive lineman from NC State. So here's another South Carolina guy. And they have 2 South Carolina free agents they brought in this offseason, DJ Wanham, and most importantly, Jadeveon Clowney. So this just makes too much sense to me.
Also, I feel like a very underrated wide receiver prospect this year. I've started to love him more as the process is going on. Is a Jalen Polk. I think Jalen Polk could really, if in the right system, he could turn out to be really, really good. Xavier Leggett too. He's more of a deep threat guy, which is fine because you have Deontay and
Yeah.
Thielen there.
And
So I feel like that'd be a fine pick for.
And I think in our group chat, I was saying today, Mason sent something about Leggett, and someone said he's a deep threat guy. And I was saying, I that's fine with me. I think we really need a deep threat guy right now because Thielen, kind of like your middle ground receiver.
Also, yeah,
kind of
Deontay in the slot too could be great for you guys.
Deontay, yes, good slot route runner guy. Thielen's more of a slot kind of guy. So you need someone who could be a deep threat, someone you can hit for 40 yards downfield, or someone you could throw a Hail Mary touchdown to. So I think Legett's perfect. But that's all I'm going to say about the Panthers. I'm done. Luke, the floor is yours for the final pick of the night. New England Patriots.
I'll make this quick because I really have to get back to my project. But so there's a couple ways. There's a couple different things the Patriots could do here. As an outsider looking in, wide receiver seems like the obvious pick, but I'm more afraid they go Roman Wilson. I like Xavier Leggett. I don't really know if Vlad McConkey is as much of a fit. I either don't think they'll do that, or I won't doom somebody to be the next N'Keal Harry or Tyquan Thornton, or even Jalen Reagor for that matter, because he's on our roster now. But I will take somebody who has been mocked to us a bunch. He's on the screen. It's Kingsley Suamataia.
Yeah.
That's going to take some getting used to, but what were you going to say, Josh?
I said that's basically what I said. I just went for it.
Scroll back down, Dante.
Yeah,
I just want to see the guy's name.
Kingsley
Suamataia. Obviously in need.
I got it. You're good.
We have been reliant on a run game. There's no guarantee that any quarterback we have is going to be able to do anything other. And I think we'll continue to be reliant on our run game, which after a year and some clarity, I don't really have as much faith in our running as our running back duo that I had in the past. I think we go tackle. It doesn't really hurt anything. And like I said, I don't want to pronounce a wide receiver's career over before it begins, which is what being drafted by the Patriots means. So.
I would just an aside. I would love Troy Franklin there or anywhere. I think Troy Franklin is a really good. There's risk.
Same. I love Troy.
I do like Troy Franklin a lot.
I've also heard Troy Franklin for Carolina too. A whole lot.
Troy Franklin would be great for any of those teams at the end of the first round, beginning of the second that need a receiver. Just throwing that out there. He wasn't taken, but would love to see him get taken in that range. So,
all right. Well, that concludes the second annual WWG mock draft.
So
Let's
I
see how this one ate.
If anyone's curious, out of the 34 picks we made, 6 of them are wide receivers.
okay.
So, almost 1/6. But hey, that's how it can shake out this year. Definitely. Tons of wide receiver needy teams. So
Cool.
I think that does it for us. We'll all that's left is to just see how our mock shakes out, how we do. I think we're at least gonna get the first overall pick right. We'll say that.
Yeah. After that, no guarantees.
1, 4, 5, and 7 are all pretty safe in my
4,
opinion.
2. Yep.
If trades don't happen and surprises don't happen, I don't even think 7's really that safe. I just think the Chargers are going to go Joe Alt. That's my personal opinion, but
well, hey, we'll see what happens.
we will.
Draft is Thursday night at
8 p.m. Eastern
8 p.m.
Standard Time.
Got it.
Time of the year, man.
And
In the
It
great
actually worked
state
out
of Michigan.
because I needed to tell my dad to record the draft because he has an event till like 9, but wants to.
Since like Sunday, I've been excited, nervous. It's all I can think about right now, and I have a ton of schoolwork I have to do, and it's all I can think about right now is how is this going to go this year?
I'm excited. I gotta wait till Friday for my favorite part of it, but the first night's fun too. So I'm definitely excited. All right, everybody.
JJ,
That wraps it up.
That pretty much covers it. I hope you enjoyed our second annual WG mock draft. I'm sure the third one will be coming next year without a doubt. So
Absolutely.
Josh Knapp, Zach Nitchie, I want to thank you all for coming on the pod as always.
Thank you guys for having us as always.
Anytime. And all right, I think that does it for us. We are your hosts. Adam,
Dante?
And Luke.
Josh, Zach, you want to sign off?
See you guys.
Thank you again, but please, for the love of God, please be smart. To every single team out there, be smart. Except the Bears and the Vikings. Everybody else can do whatever.
Brandon,
Ravens. And
And
the
the
Ravens.
Browns.
Brandon
Wait.
Ayuk prayer circle, Dante. Brandon Ayuk prayer circle.
Speaking of which, before we sign off
Namaste.
completely, I guess, Jonathan Jones just reposted something about the Patriots. I have yet to speak to someone in the league who believes strongly that the Patriots will pick Drake May. More than anything, most just seem to be assuming. So, Jaden Daniels is the pick at 2.
Or JJ
Who will
McCarthy.
be
All I want is one word and it's 2 letters.
wide receiver. Amen.
That's all I want.
All
Just get
right.
me a wide receiver. Could care less who it is. Hopefully, one of the guys I mentioned.
All right, Russ, I got a project to work on.
Have fun.
Peace
Later.
out, everyone.
All right, everybody.
Yes. See ya.
Thank
See you
you
next
again.
time.